Welcome to another episode of the BJJ GOONS podcast. And before I get started, I just want to tell you about our sponsor, Perry Athletics. They have a new 7-inch inseam grappling short. It's high rise, but meant to sit closer to your true waist. High quality Velcro. Everyone knows Velcro breaks down first on fight shorts. This pair of shorts does not. Weighted hem to keep your shorts from riding up. Durable. Heavyweight 4-way stretch material to assure that there is no dick indent, according to the copy. No dick indent.
Is that a thing, Tim? I don't break into the copy. That's a thing? All right.
Yes. No yes. So there's no dick print when you're wearing these shorts. You know how those lightweight fabrics be draping, all right. Eyes up here, ladies. Eyes up here. But you don't have to worry about that with these shorts. So go to perryathletics.com for 15% off. All you have to do is use promo code BJJ GOONS. That's perryathletics.com, promo code BJJ GOONS for 15% off. But welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast.
Yes, welcome to the podcast, everybody. Now that we've got that man, well, this episode is clearly sponsored by Perry Athletics, who has other amazing things other than these no tent athletic shorts, but whatever.
No dick print. No dick print.
All right, whatever, everybody. It's Nico Ball, no new Nico, and you may see or you may have been hearing our guest today. Today we have a special guest, one of the few, if not the only person that I know that has managed to balance jiu-jitsu and a real job. Maybe not just balance, but also prioritize. Aarae Alexander is a TLI black belt. She became world champion for the first time, if I am correct, at blue belt in 2009. And ever since then, she has been on the podiums at all the major competitions, despite the fact that she has been studying to be a civil engineer. She actually is an engineer now. I'm not sure her current age. I want to say it's only like 23, but this girl owns her own house. She is definitely doing her thing. Today, our guest is Aarae Alexander. What's up, Aarae?
What's up? I'm 26. I got kicked off my parents' insurance. I just turned 26 last week.
All right. When you graduated, were you 23? Is that where I'm getting these random numbers from?
22.
22. Graduated from college at 22. 26 now with a career, your own home.
I think
that's what's up.
Yeah.
You are like a black belt at being an adult. That's you have your own crib like that.
I try.
I mean, that's incredible. We were talking earlier, me and Nico, like the dichotomy between you and the average jiu-jitsu competitor or the average jiu-jitsu player, because the latest episode of Daisy Fresh dropped. I was kind of tight. I was OD tight because I was like, I guess we can get into it, Nico. Like, have you seen Daisy
we
Fresh?
Want to interview you, Aarae, but like really the first part of this podcast is Tim getting it off his chest, how he feels about Daisy.
Yeah, go ahead and vent.
Because I was preparing for the show and I was thinking about how you've done such a superb job of not just getting a regular job. You're not, it's great to be a police officer, fireman, but like you are a civil engineer. Like that requires math. Like I went to school for like stuff that is not nowhere near as hard as that. And like you're doing the damn thing. You're actually competing. You're a legitimate black belt. And like you got your shit together, right? But in Daisy Fresh, these guys live in a trap house. Like they live in squalor. They got possums falling from the ceiling. And like the latest episode, yes, they live in filth, right? They sleep with blankets on the mat and they use Tide pads as pillows, right? And I watched the latest episode 3, and they have episode 4.
Wait. Aarae, you haven't seen any of it?
No.
Then back it up for Tim. Back it up a little bit. So these guys are living, where are they living? They're living above a laundromat, right?
No, they live in an old abandoned laundromat.
Oh, it's an abandoned
laundromat.
They live in a bando, Tim?
Yes, a bando. Yes. Whatever the Midwest version of a bando is, they live in a bando.
Wait, what's a bando?
A boarded up abandoned house where you sell drugs in. Don't you listen to the Migos? Oh gosh, you gotta listen to 2013 Migos. Anyway, they live in a bando. Yeah. They live in a bando. They sleep on the mats, and the mats are decrepit, like old crusty mats, like the mats that the Gracies use when they first started training people. Like that's how old these mats look.
They got social projects in Rio with better mats.
Yes, absolutely. And I bet they don't sleep on Tide pads in Brazil. And
how do they wash their clothes? Okay, so hold on. There's a few.
We're gonna get to the washing because there's not a lot of washing going on. Okay, there's not a lot of washing because they share each other's clothes. This last episode, they were talking about how famous jiu-jitsu people like Roberto Jimenez and Craig Jones were donating them shit, and like they got the checks from the government because of the Rona, and one of the guys spent it to make a shed in the back where he could live out of. And like the other guy lives in a van and there's a hammock in it. And it frustrated me because Nico, you worked with Favela Jiu-Jitsu, and you can get your shit in too, because I don't want to be the only one canceled for saying this. But in this day and age, all the terrible things that are going on, why the hell are you donating stuff to these people? They don't need this. Like, these are able-bodied men that can work. They live in the Midwest. I know they don't like immigrants over there, so they need field hands to actually work in the field and get some money. Why don't you get you a job? Why are you taking other people's charity when, like, you can get a job? And their coach was on there talking about when the pandemic hit and the shutdown happened, I was looking at the guys like, what are they going to do? I was like, well, you can get a job, you can get some soap, some water, instead of asking.
Get soap without a job, but that's like a serious issue. So if you don't have soap and you're not washing, you don't have running water, like sanitation was a major thing at the beginning of Corona. How are you washing your hands for 20 seconds?
They're not. I think they're patient zero. Aarae, I got tetanus just watching that shit, bro. It's not cool, and there's no honor in being musty. And it frustrated me a lot because it makes the sport look bad, and it kind of it makes the sport look ghetto, and it sends a bad representation of what you should be doing if you're going to do this. Like, I thought about it, like you and I and some of the other people on the team, like Jamil, like, we're some of the few people that I know of in this sport that actually have degrees. And like the fact that they're getting gifts from people or people donating shit when these are able-bodied young men that live in America, it disturbed my spirit. But go ahead, Nico. I know you were talking a little bit about the dichotomy between here and then what you do with Favela Jiu-Jitsu, and then we can get into.
I don't know. To me, it just really makes no sense. And like, as somebody that's like, because I run a nonprofit, and it drives me crazy because we're like Master Lloyd, and Master Lloyd always introduces me to people, especially people with money, as someone that has a nonprofit. There's a strong desire to always be broke. And it's like, no, like I want to make money and I want to have money. I just am like, want to have a purpose behind that money, which is why maybe I don't have like all of the stacks that other people have. But I remember one time, like Muhammad Ali, who's on the team, he had said something to me, and that shit really hit hard, because as someone that came back from Brazil and still has like a whole bunch of hand-me-down gis and a hand-me-down clothes, he once told me, is like, poor people, just because they're poor, don't deserve to have secondhand stuff. They work hard and they're just as dedicated, and they deserve new mats and new gis and nice stuff, just like anything else, And that really changed my mentality, because I used to have like this idea where I could just grind and grind and grind, and it was okay to be like somewhat grimy, and it was okay if I like never bought gis or I didn't need a gi sponsor and things like that. But when Muhammad told me, like, mention that, and it's like, it's kind of like really like a mentality or a place where you kind of got to be, and it's like you shouldn't be okay with that. Like in the favela, it's like a serious thing. Like if you don't have water, or you can't wash your gis, you can't do it. You can't afford to do it. Water doesn't pump up from the streets up a mountain for you to be able to do it. And that is like not just a race thing, it's like a class thing. That is for a poor class. That's when we talk about at risk. That's when we talk about marginalized. That's when we talk about people that have a true lack of access. These are fuckboys that just want to do jiu-jitsu. And there's a difference, and it shouldn't be confused, and they shouldn't get to take stuff from people like Roberto Jimenez that could donate to a project in Peru because they want to be dirty white boys. That's how I feel about it. But again, Roberto Jimenez can give his money to wherever he wants. Like, I just don't have that kind of respect for that. Like, I mean, we have an FT black belt rolling around in the US, and he was at Daisy Fresh, and he fucks with them, and that's his choice. Like, I definitely support him and his journey and where he's at. Like, he's the kind of person that lives in the gym as well. But like, as somebody that seeks to uplift people from poverty, I can't get down with people that try to do it as if it's like a hype thing, as if it's cool.
So, if you have time and you have the stomach for it, Aarae, by all means, tune in, but do not donate anything to them because they can get a motherfucking job. And you know what you should do? Donate them to like a gift card to Jose Bank or like Johnson Murphy so they can get some clothes to go on a job interview. That's what they need to do. But anyway, since you're not living off of the charity of others and you have a real job, I have a question for you. Let's start it off. Did you ever want to be a full-time competitor, or did you always have in your mind that you wanted to have a conventional job?
So, I mean, of course I thought about it, and I mean, but so my thing is like coming up and growing up, I always was good at school, right? And my parents invested in my school. I went to private school all the way up until high school. And then I went to a science and technology high school. And I got good grades and, you know, all that. I just feel like I can, you know, I'm the type of person where it's never either or. Like, I'm gonna do both. You know what I mean? Like, I thought about it, you know, but you can't really say that, oh, if I was full time, then I would be a however many time world champion, because you don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I've been dealing with injuries for 2019 and 2018. So, you know, what would have happened if I was full time dealing with those injuries and I didn't have my job? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I never really thought about it like that, but you have a very good point, because being a competitor, you're using your body, and since you're in a combat sport, you don't really have complete control of what happens to you. Like, I've got my arm snapped in half, like all my fingers broken, and a lot of it wasn't my fault. And you know, if you lose that,
do you have
you're
health
SOL.
insurance, Tim?
Do I have health insurance?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do. Because that was the first thing I got once I started securing bags. I got my health insurance because,
That's good.
I got kicked off my parents' insurance.
It's expensive trying to do it, like trying to, you know, get it individually. It, like, if you try to get your own plan or whatever, and you don't like not do a job or something, I've seen some crazy rates. So.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't gonna do the super glue stitches. I was gonna go legit.
Yeah, man. I wonder about, like, do Jamil and Malachi have insurance?
Fingers crossed.
So I've always been the oldest. So I turned 26. Well, no, Cedric was older. Cedric was January. I'm October. Malachi's December. And then Jamil and Angelo would turn 26 next year. But yeah, so, you know, some of them got a couple, you know, some time. But I think that's very important, because you just never know, especially all this. You might need an MRI. And that stuff is expensive.
Emergency surgery. I was lucky that I got that injury when I was like 23.
Jamil's appendix.
Yes.
That surgery. That was emergency surgery.
Yeah.
But wasn't that like right after he got health insurance, I feel like, or something? I don't know. I feel like somebody had
like
just gotten
6 figures.
Oh yeah. If you don't have insurance, it's gonna cost you a lot of money, or you're gonna have a GoFundMe, and that's never a good idea. So what was your training schedule like while you were in school?
So when I started high school, it was a bit of transition because I went from private school to public school. And my freshman year, and I always gotten straight A's, right? So my freshman year in geometry, I got like a B second quarter. B as in boy, not D. I don't do those.
I'm sitting here like she said straight A's. Always got straight A's. 1B. She talking about 1.
Yeah, one. No. But listen to this. Here's the whole thing. So 1B, and then I started only going to train on Friday, Saturday. That was my parents were like,
because of the B.
Mm-hmm.
But how many days were you training before the B?
I think it was 2 other days. So like night classes, maybe Monday, Wednesday, or something like that, or Tuesday, Thursday. Yeah. So
Whoa.
Friday, Saturday. That's all I had. Friday, Saturday. I needed to focus on high school so I could get into a good college.
So that was always the plan, right? Your parents were
Yeah.
always like, "You're going to college."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not an option.
Not an option. It wasn't for me. What about you, Nico? Were your parents like super pro school or no?
I mean, they were definitely. I don't know. It just has never really like occurred to me to like not go to school afterwards. Like, cause I left my house when I was 18. So like I graduated high school on my own and I completely entered school on my own. Like it. So yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of the way I was raised to like be kind of expected to go through with it.
Now, I'm assuming Master Donnie, was he supportive of you splitting time or lowering your days at the gym? What was that like?
Well, so I was never really like you hear Jamil talk about like being at the gym all day, every day, or all like that was never. I would go there for class and then I would go home. I was never there all the time, except maybe like my big jump happened where I trained a lot were the summer camp. So because I was in summer camp, so I was there all day. So I think that's kind of why we started training a lot more in summer camp because Master Nine wanted to utilize like, oh, well, you're actually here, like, every day. So we're going to train. You guys can do your little activities and, but during our downtime or whatever, we're going to train. Supportive. I mean, he is kind of had to be. He would be like, you got to get your parents to give us more time. You got to give your parents to give us more time. My parents never.
It wasn't budging. So since your time is limited or was limited, what was your typical training schedule like when you were in high school? Like what was your training sessions like?
So it was the Friday class, which is like an hour and a half, and then our Saturday practice, which is like an hour and a half, and then we have like a break, and then we had that demo team practice, which is a really long workout drilling practice session. But that's pretty much it. And then what helped a lot too was sometimes I would get pulled up to the adult classes for the ladies to help train, train with Nija or Sarge or somebody like that. So other than that, but mostly just Friday and Saturday.
So
until I got a car.
Then you had.
By then, that was like senior year. So.
So like, was it hard for you having your parents like limit your training, like, and then seeing everybody else go to competition and be training, or were you kind of in line with that? Like, all right, I really need to do well in school.
It was hard at times, but I understood where they were coming from, and I did need to like focus on school and make sure I had the good grades and the test scores and all that. But I still went and competed with everybody else, and somehow had good results and stuff. I think it's just like mindset too. Like I never really thought about me training less. I was just like trying to win.
I get that. And can you tell us about the school you went to? Because I don't think people understand. Like you didn't go to an Ivy League school, but you went to a very hard school to get into, at least if you're in-state. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So it's actually considered, I think, still a public Ivy what they call it or whatever.
Whoa.
University of Maryland, College Park. Really good school. School of Engineering. Hard, hard, hard. Test you.
Can you talk a little bit about the engineering program? I'm not a math guy. Like whenever I had to take standardized tests, I had to just be like, man, I'm a guess and just hope my English is really good because I speak English.
No, I feel like engineering is so hard. I'm doing this article on jiu-jitsu in Angola, and there's this one guy that does like everything in jiu-jitsu, all the events, MMA, all of this. And he does this all because he was supposed to be an engineer. And like, it was his way. He was like, I can't just bring home medals and my parents be okay. Be like, okay, boo, you can do jiu-jitsu and not be an engineer. So I feel like he has like become the mastermind of jiu-jitsu in Angola as a sole reason to avoid engineering because it's that hard. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's very difficult. Especially like, I think freshman year was a big kind of shock because at least from my perspective, like other people from, wealthier high schools and stuff, they've already, taken AP classes and I know this stuff. I feel like for me, even though I went to a good high school, I still didn't have I had to kind of play catch up. So I'm playing catch up and then, stuff is already hard too. So, and just getting used to kind of failing in a way, like it's really weird. So going from like straight A's and I graduated with over a 4.0 and then you get into a class, engineering class, and you take a test and the professor is like, well, the average was a 42. And you're like, so like 4.2, that's it. And the lowest score was like an 11. And you're just like, what in the world? So we're all we're all gonna fail. But then they curved it. Yeah, so it's just an adjustment.
Okay, so like on a female level, when we say like this was a hard adjustment, was it like really hard? Like, I'm gonna be like spend some time like maybe crying in pajamas with some ice cream, kind of get adjusted, or it was just like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, because Kim's like, what is like females like, no, we over here like, oh my God, I'm gonna die kind of stuff. And I think it's important to address that. Like
Ben and Jerry's, yeah, it was a struggle. Ben and Jerry's, and then I feel like by like junior year, you get to a point where you just like, it is what it is. That's kind of how like I feel like college prepares you to kind of like take it in stride and keep on moving. Like,
do you feel like
dwelling.
Do you feel like jiu-jitsu maybe help you prepare for college in any way? Or like, because I know TLI is like really strict and like they have like their whole 3% mentality. And some people like always say that transfers over into academics, but like that's a very like copy kind of thing to say. But personally, do you feel like being a martial artist like impacted you, like you going to college at all? Or
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like at least freshman year or two, I used to be like, I am, in my dorm, I am studying, I'm trying to finish my homework, I'm trying to do this. And I didn't have my car either. So I was like, I'm trying to get everything done so I can ride the metro for an hour and then go to practice on Friday and then do it again on Saturday. And then, make sure I still study and all that. So self-discipline, and then just, I guess, having a positive attitude, like keep pushing through too.
So you were still training and you had like a full course load. How many hours were you studying a week, would you say? Or like school related activities on top of like training on weekends?
What's the thing that you're supposed to study like 3 hours to 1 credit hour or something? It's something like ratio that. Or something like that. Probably that plus more. Like,
so she was doing all of her studying plus all of Malachi's studying, because we all know Malachi did 0
no.
That's still the funniest thing I ever heard. He didn't even try.
Like,
all right, so what about now?
To go to class.
what about now after graduation? Now you're working as an engineer, and what's your training schedule looking like now?
So now, before the Rona, it was Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then leading up to like tournaments and stuff, I would come in on Monday and Wednesday, and then sometimes we would have Sunday practices leading up to like Pans or Worlds. So way more. But I feel like for me too, I kind of had to keep myself in a box. Like this is, my game plan. This is what I'm really good at. So I have to stick to that as far as jujitsu. So now I'm like trying to play catch up in a way, even though I'm a black belt. I feel like through my color belts, I stuck to my game plan and it worked for me. But now at black belt, I kind of got to expand my game and like open up and do some different stuff. So it's an adjustment, but I'm liking it. Like I would have never thought that I would rather like be passing and playing top more than like pulling close guard or something like that as a blue belt. Like my blue belt self would be like, what? Like no way. So.
Nice. So do you plan on competing when this clears back up? Like, do you want to go on like I don't know, compete more frequently, or are you going to try to like still go sporadically? Like, what's your plan for when this clears up, when we get rid of the Rona?
I will say we need some more East Coast tournaments for sure. I would like to compete more frequently once this clears up. Yeah, I want to compete more, definitely, especially since I was dealing with an injury, like, and I feel like just I feel like all this time, all throughout being a kid and all that, and then I had like the dumbest injuries. Like now, I'm like, I'm finally a black belt and I have to deal with like stupid stuff. So now I feel like this is kind of not doing anything. So heal up and then get back to hardcore training whenever this goes away, and then be able to actually compete and do some things.
Learn some lapel guard or something. Do like all this crazy stuff.
All that crazy,
Yeah,
all that
exactly.
free time. Have you been training at all, or no? You just been oh wow.
I'm not messing with this, Tim.
I'm gonna be honest. I keep on getting asked to do these super fights, and I'm like, man, I haven't really done jiu-jitsu in months. Like since like they stopped fighting in Maslowa's garage, I wear a mask, the neck gaiter, and I do Jamal's kickboxing class. That's all I do. I'm not feeling the
I
sweat.
try like running, but like I have bad allergies and like bad sinus problems. So most of the time my nose is stopped up and stuff anyway. So I'm like, y'all, people tell you, oh, don't go to the gym unless, you feel hunched. I would never be able to go because I always got something here anyway. That's why I'm kind of like, I'm not really messing with this. I know what it feels like to have, be like, so no.
Yeah. Nah. All right. So if there was no corona and you had been training and you could fight somebody at like fight to win or a super fight, who would you fight, Aarae?
I don't know. I don't really have like, I don't really have one person that I would love to like fight. I don't know. I never have like a I want you type of thing. I'm just kind of like literally like looking at, I wouldn't even look at my divisions for like pans and stuff until like Jamil would, they study people and know all the names and they'd be like, oh, you have such and such. I'd be like, okay, sure. I don't even like, they know people's names and stuff. I try not to, I'm just like, I'm going out there and do my thing, whoever it is, we're on to the next. We're trying to make it to top of the podium. I don't even.
I like that mentality because, you could be doing all this preparation, is bumped out first round and then it's like the bracket's ruined. Like you just spend all this time getting all hyped.
Yeah.
Oh, we're talking
Yeah.
about
It's a
super
little
fight. That's what.
different
Well,
at
I'm
black
not good
belt
at
though.
calling people out either, or am I good at studying fights? Like, so it's just like, nah, I just want to fight. I want to be able to beat everybody. But most people always have somebody that they're trying to call out. Like,
Hmm.
I'm gonna just pick one person for the sake of social media. Maybe like if it would be locally, you know. I know there's like one other person like on my belt. So I don't know.
I was, and for me, because I grew up like literally watching like Kara Gracie and like Michelle Nicolini and like those would be the people that I
Hmm.
would want to fight.
Like retired or like they barely
Yeah,
fight anymore, right?
yeah.
It's like a
Yeah.
bummer. One year I could have fought Shanji in the finals of Worlds at black belt. Got screwed in the semis, and like I've never had the opportunity to fight it again. It's like, no, we're so close.
Yeah.
So I don't even get my
The
hopes
one,
up.
I think my first year at black belt, Mackenzie was in my division, but she didn't. She, I don't know. I don't think she made weight or something, but she didn't compete. So like, she knocked everything. I was like, oh man, that would have been awesome.
What are your goals for black belt? Like, what are the? Because you've won a lot. Like, you've got a lot of world titles, but what are some of the goals that you have as a competitor before you call it quits? Or
And the major grabbing these major titles, pans, worlds. I would like to compete at Europeans. Everybody tells me that that's like the fun, and Brasileiros.
I'm
Everybody
trying to
says
get you.
the
I'm trying
energy
to
like
get all
out.
y'all to come to both of those competitions with
Yeah.
you, me, because I'm tired of traveling by myself, getting robbed in like castles because I done ordered some random Airbnb. That don't happen when you roll with a squad.
they get you with the
So
secret
everybody says the
passageway.
energy is so different at
I
like those tournaments.
definitely.
Yeah. Would
So
love
now you
to.
know, book Aarae Alexander for a seminar around Brasileiros or European. She's totally down, totally down, and
When
she's
the
working
Rona
on
is
some new
gone.
stuff apparently.
Man, they would love to have you in Africa. I think they would love to have Array in Africa. What do you think, Nico? We had a couple guests that are from Africa not
I'm
too long
telling you,
ago.
the guy in Angola has dedicated his life to avoiding engineering. I'm sure he would love to meet.
You'd be like, yo, I'm gonna tutor you. I'm gonna help you get this degree, but I want a couple trips. All right, I'm gonna give you all my notes. Do you still have your notes from school? Like you could sell.
He don't want no. Oh God,
No.
no.
You could sell.
And actually, I don't know. I didn't really like socialize this, but I'm getting my master's like right now. So
Yo,
that's a thing that's happening.
Awesome.
congratulations.
Quarantine decisions.
So why your masters? Like,
Well, I was so I think I applied and like I've been like thinking about it, back and forth about it, but this is for engineering management, and just to have the option. I feel like if I wanted to go into management in the future.
yep, that's really cool.
That's what's up.
That's what I was asking because I was like, no, why your master's? Obviously, that's a good idea, but generally, when people get to that level and continue to study, it's because they have a career goal that they are trying to match with some kind of
Yeah,
degree, So, just trying to see where
yeah,
she was going with that.
yeah. Knock this out and then get my professional engineering license, and then I'm done with any type of studying for ever.
Well, that
Now,
is awesome.
what exactly do you do as an engineer? Because I mean, I haven't thought in my mind where like there's like a bunch of papers with numbers and like drawings of buildings. Like, can you? Oh, don't I
So
don't
I'm
ask
just
that.
kidding. It could be so complicated. The homework
That's
is
a
no, I
hard
can
yes.
because
dumb it
what she
down. No, no,
does
no,
is
no, no.
hard, probably.
No.
Can you
Okay,
can you
okay.
can you give me like a simple answer a caveman could
Because
understand?
I feel like you think that I'm okay. So for me, I work at a utility, right? So your power lines that you have, like those big old towers, and they're in like a right of way, like in a line, and they carry your power, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I help design and like with the design and construction of putting those, like not specifically those, but the capacity that power holds underground, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Kinda, yeah.
So
Okay.
basically put power lines underground.
So if it wasn't for you, we'd be in the dark right now. We wouldn't be talking on this show.
Well, it depends on what area you're in. But yeah.
Got it. Perfect. That answered my question. Nico?
That's what, on engineering?
Yes, yeah,
Was
that,
that? Yeah. See, I told you I could.
That was
that
a
made,
simple question.
that was
That
very
was a
good.
simple answer.
Yeah.
Like my here's the problem. My stepmom was also an engineer, and she was not good with like those layman's responses, and like so she used to work with
sort of technical edge.
it was just like she worked with something that had to do like she also worked for like the Air Force, so she did something to do with jets and like some where something would go out of something to make it work, and that's where it got complicated, like the amount of and that's why I was like yeah, no, don't know. Cause like if you don't know, I have a degree in like Spanish literature away from the sciences. I do have a degree in educational psychology, but like I remember going into like an actual laboratory for the first time and like, oh, I'm definitely like a fine arts major.
I did sociology because I wanted to do jiu-jitsu and party, and I knew my parents weren't going to let me just go be a jiu-jitsu bum. I had to get a degree. I had no choice, man. I had no choice. So math, that, more power to you. That's why I'm so impressed that you're able to balance both. You're able to kick ass on the mat and have a real job. Like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying. Make it happen out here. Especially, like, who I like to talk to. Like, I don't get to talk to them often, but when I see them at tournaments, the Musumekis.
That's what I told. See, we're trying to get them. See, and we're closing up now because, like Tim just told me, we don't have any more questions. But we're trying to talk to Mikey, and then I was telling him like, I don't know Mikey, but like I know Tammy's also a world champion, and I know Jamil has mentioned that like they're from like the old school Naga circuit. So I know you
they
probably
used to
knew them. Yeah. I really wanna, and I think that's dope because like everybody knows Mikey, but it's like, especially like the obscurity of female BJJ, like no, like, and they're brothers and sisters, and they're both world champions. That's awesome.
They're both smart.
Yeah, and I believe Tammy was in law school when she won her world title.
Wow. Yeah, we gotta get her on.
That's why I'm like, yeah, it can be done. It can be done.
That's awesome.
Do you have any advice for someone that's trying to do both? Because, it's weird in jiu-jitsu because, you're growing up, some gyms, they tell you got to be 100% committed. There's no slacking, 110%. You got to live in a basement with no AC, no blanket. Can you give some advice to all the young people? I'm dead ass. They make you think like you can't be a world champion.
You gotta be struggling.
Yes. Yeah. So can you give advice? Because we have a lot of young people that listen.
This is a different level of struggle than the Daisy Fresh struggle, though. Like this is not a Daisy Fresh struggle.
It's not a Daisy. That's by choice. But I digress. Can you, since all the young people are the up and comers that feel as though they want to get an education, they want to use that mind muscle, can you give some advice to them?
I would say it can be done. I mean, Jamil, was in school and won a world title. Like I said, the Musumekis, I've done well, balancing both. Time management is a big portion. Mindset is a big portion. You have to, believe you're able to win. And then also just, believing it and training hard. You can't go in a training and making your training count. You go in there, and I used to be like, if I would get beat up, I would be really mad because I'm like, ugh, I gotta wait till next week to come in here. I'm not coming in tomorrow. Like, so making the most out of your training, making the most out of training and what you have, and if you're into it, video study. If you're into it, I try every now. When I was a kid, I would watch matches and stuff, and then I try every now and then. But I have my own personal weird thing about that. But it can be helpful, just watching. But I think mindset is probably the biggest thing, and time management. Making sure that you're doing your schoolwork and still going to training when you can, making the most out of your training. Like, just don't, because I get tired and I'm like, man, I'm tired. I don't feel like going to the gym, or if I go to the gym, but I still, need to be present and do my drilling correctly and make sure I'm not being lazy and getting my butt whooped while we're sparring. Like, do what you can.
Mm-hmm.
It can be done.
Yep.
It's hard though.
Mad hard, man.
It's
Mad
very
hard. That's the struggle, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a struggle.
I think like I know I've interviewed you before, and I've heard Master Lloyd and Master Donnie talk about you before, and they really emphasize like one thing that helped you with your limited time is just really focusing on your game and what you do, which is exactly what you said, and also like the transition, which is the TLI system. But one thing that I'm really excited to see based off what you said is like now as a black belt, you having opportunity to play with other things. So like I'm really excited.
I'm trying to be
like,
Jamil out here.
So like I'm trying to see like what new things you're gonna come up with now. So like we said at the beginning, like you're one of the possibly only people I know that has really like kind of prioritized this career over competition, but like you still have like developed your own game and your own style in a way that nobody else has. So like I think what you do from now on is also going to be very unique and very dope.
Yeah, I'm trying to be the lapel lady and, make you roll with you and you didn't even know. Literally, I roll with Jamil and I'll be like, how did we get here? What is happening right now? Like,
see, like I don't train at TLI because like I'm not down
with
going
into the cheater.
Yeah, he is.
He is a cheat code, bro. I'm not even gonna front. That's not fair.
No, like you saw like I train with a closed group of people that doesn't let people in, but they had Andres come over. So like and like they've been doing all this lapel stuff, and I'm a passer. I hate pulling guard, and I don't like this lapel. Like, so they've been killing me with this. I have like 20 technique videos that they had me film for them, like, and they've just been doing all this lapel and like that worm rider, and it's so confusing. So yeah.
Yeah. But he is my favorite training partner because I get to try a lot of stuff. Yeah. And figure out how to get out of stuff where I don't know what the heck is going on.
That'll definitely happen with Jamil. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Superb teacher. Like, I learned a lot every role. But I gotta hand it to you. You probably have, like, whenever you put someone in your closed guard and you go Kimura, like, it's over.
That's my joint.
I'm like, Aarae, like, all you gotta do is put them in your closed guard and get a Kimura, and it's a wrap. So when you start adding lapel,
it's hard to get there at black belt.
Black belt is hard. Master Lloyd had us gassed up, like, cause like we was all gassed up. The Lord belt, like, yeah, shorty, yeah, we double gold every tournament. That's right. And then I go to black belt, it's like, oh wow, these guys are like really good. Like, no bullshit. Like, I'm like, no wonder y'all was on all the DVD.
I feel like me and Jamel talked about it, I feel like the women in the women's divisions, because they're smaller, like it's kind of, everybody is good. Like Jamil said, I might get a division where I might have like a warm-up round. You're not going to have that. You got to be on point, like, regardless. Basically, everybody is really, really good. Everybody has. So, yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
We're going to get there, though. We're going to get it.
Of course. Hey, if you can figure out that engineering, I think jiu-jitsu is a breeze. That's a breeze.
Yes, ain't no joke. All right, let me do Tim's part. All right, so all right, where can we find you?
You can find me at Aarae, AARAE _BJJ, and then Aarae Alexander on Facebook, and then Aarae BJJ on Twitter. I don't really use that, but you can follow if you want. But Instagram, I'm usually on Instagram, or I be with the old folks on Facebook sometimes too.
Facebook is the old folks home of social media.
They find out stuff like literally like a week later, like jokes and memes and stuff. I'm like, oh, this was funny a month ago.
Yeah. Facebook's trying to hang it in there, you know. TikTok is firing back though. It's a little bit hard. Oh man.
Twitter is just, I love Twitter. That's why
Twitter's the best.
It's the best. That's where I get all my funny memes and my Hotep stuff that I send to all my friends.
Dr. Umar.
Dr. Umar, yes. CMOS. You can find me at www.cmos.com. Just kidding. You can find me at eat your
JustBay.com.
Yeah. What'd you say? JustBay.com? All right. Hey, no, that's my OnlyFans. But anyway, you can find me at TimSpringsBJJ.com, or you can find me at Tim Springs on Instagram or the social media old folks home, which is known as Facebook. You can hit me up for a seminar, private lesson, my CMOS recipes, all that good stuff. Nico, where can we find you?
All right, this week I need you to not worry about finding me. I need you to go slide over to that Perry Athletics Instagram and look at all of the nice, beautiful, sexy clothes that they got on there. They got the best grappling shorts, apparently with no dick tent. Don't know what that means. Maybe it will help.
We're gonna rephrase that and say dick print. But ladies, you know, you don't want the camel toe.
I don't know about the dick print, but
so, it works for everybody.
The shorts do look sexy. Go slide on over to Perry Athletics. That's PARR Athletics. Their Instagram is lit. Go make sure you go follow them.
This has been the BJJ Goons podcast. Also, guys, make sure that you wash your gear. Do not share drawers or clothes with your training partners, and get a damn job.
We ain't never getting on Flow Grappling. Cancel this. Cut this. Bye. Boom.